So, when Raj first told me that they're going to be hosting an event on their podcast, I thought, wow, that's going to be boring. But then I realized it can't be more boring than their own podcast. So instead of making it more boring and giving a good old presentation on my part, I decided, why don't I record a video? That way you probably won't fall asleep and I can edit it and do cool things like this. Yeah, Raj, how do you feel that a blank canvas is more entertaining than you? So anyways, I got asked to present the technicalities behind recording a podcast. I don't know why you'd come to me for this information because all of this is freely available on YouTube, but I guess it's a little bit hard to use Google for some people, especially if you're the founder of the Erasmus Tech community. Well, I guess we didn't all get dealt the same cards. Maybe that's why he studied BIM. I don't think he even wrote his own thesis. You think I'm stupid, huh? You want to replace me, Raj? How can you do this to me, man? How can you do— Fine, I'll tell you everything, but you better be damn good at taking notes because this is gonna be fast. You ready? 3, 2,
add it up.
Okay, we're done recording. You have 2 SD cards, one with footage and one with audio. Take this one, plug it in, open Logic, and apply the following effects exactly in this order. Speech enhancer, equalizer, compressor, de-esser, adaptive limiter, loudness control, and the noise gate. Make sure the compressor output is loud enough and make sure the noise gate triggers properly. Do the same thing for the other track, Command B to export. Okay, while we wait, open Final Cut. Take the second SD card out of the trash can. We need that. Import all of the clips. Oh look, the Logic export is done. Import that too. Sync them. Comp the clips into separate views. Put them together into a multicam clip and go through the whole thing and cut it where it needs to be cut. Export, and we're finally done.
Alright, with that little bit of fun out of the way, I feel it's best to actually get to the meat of this whole thing. I feel it's better to take live questions from the audience, but really quickly I just want to give 3 tips that would apply to everybody, no matter what level you are. Please note that this is not going to be anything to do with the content of the actual podcast, because even if you're recording with the worst equipment but you have a great story, that's going to do it very well, and having like no fluff and having a great intro and outro is going to do you a very solid job. I'm sure Raj and Jonathan told you a lot about that. Anyways, let's get on to the tips. So first of all, try to use good equipment, or try to have the source of the microphone as close to your mouth as possible. As an example, actually, one of the first podcasts we recorded with Raj was a podcast with one of the people he works with, and I actually recorded it by placing the microphone between the two of them. We didn't have any equipment at the time, but just my camera microphone, I think, did a pretty solid job for what it was. It was basically mounted on like a little T holding bracket. It was really bad. Now, for example, the microphone was maybe like an arm's length away from me, so the audio should sound pretty solid. But if it's very far away, for example, or if we're talking within the context of a podcasting microphone, allow me to demonstrate.
Boom, now we have a podcasting mic. This is actually the microphone that we use with Raj to record all of the podcasts, and as you can see, if my mouth is nice and close to the microphone, the audio sounds super crispy. And it's important to manage this distance, especially when talking to other people, because suddenly, if I talk to this person over there, the audio sounds like shit. And the same can be said for Jonathan, who's actually using one of those headphone microphones, as far as I'm aware, to record his podcasts, and obviously, his audio sounds amazing.
Welcome to another episode of the Speech and Repeat podcast, today with Daniel Theobald. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Well, you are...
Give me 1 second.
Welcome to Speed Change Repeat. My name is Jonathan Pfaffenroth. Alright, let's get to tip number 2 again.
So tip number 2, let's go back to this microphone because it sounds so good. It's very important to set your levels correct before actually recording the whole podcast, because if you set the levels way too low, the audio is going to be too quiet and then you'll have to boost it up in post and then it's going to be very noisy. Or otherwise, if you set it too high and then you start speaking really loudly, then your audio is just actually going to be unsavable. It's going to sound like trash. I wonder if that's ever happened before. So the last tip I'm going to give you is that I think it's still very important to edit your podcast. For example, right now you're hearing the completely raw audio from my microphone and it sounds very good. But if we put on that little extra sauce, you can see how much difference it makes. This applies regardless of whether you're using just a simple microphone, your phone, or whatever. Just putting a few things on that audio is going to make it sound great. Here's a couple of my favorites. We talked about this earlier. A compressor. that's gonna take the quietest parts of your audio and basically bring them up to the loudest parts of your audio. That way everything is almost the same volume. It actually also gives your voice a little bit of like a bass boost, I feel, and it makes it sound more podcasty essentially. I think it's a very good thing to slap on your audio, depending on what you're recording, of course, but still, be sparing with it. And second one is actually a noise gate. So if you're recording separate tracks for each people, it's very important to, understand that one microphone is always recording one person, right? So then if you have another microphone that's also picking up that person speaking, it's not going to sound great because this microphone is supposed to, be transmitting my voice, right? So if I put a noise gate on that person's microphone so that when they're not speaking, their audio is very low, and then my DAW, so digital audio workstation, it will just completely cut out their audio. And that way only this microphone is coming through in the post. And it will sound a lot better, trust me, than if you were to just have 3-4 microphones in the room all picking up that one person's audio. It sounds really bad. Anyways, that's my tips from me, and I'm down to take any questions from you, so feel free to drop them in the chat box below or just ask me directly, and hopefully I can answer them live with providing you enough detail. So thanks for watching. This was very fun to make, and Raj, Jonathan, and everyone else involved, I hope I didn't roast you too much. Have a good day.